is a great day. Whoa. Box 1, me 0, bubble wrap 1, me still 0. And I'm like, wait, what just happened? What is happening? What is happening? I'm living, I'm laughing, I'm loving, I'm dying, but I'm also living. Hello friends and welcome to my channel. Now today we are kicking off a new reading vlog in which we will be continuing series that I am in fact in the middle of. There's a couple of them. I don't know about you, but I feel like the theme of this year and also a lot of last year has been starting series and not necessarily finishing them, and I feel like I have started some really good ones lately, and it has definitely been made very clear to me in recent months that if I do not read the series fairly close to when I start them, they don't end up going as well. I feel like I'm having war flashbacks. So this week we're going to be continuing some series that I am in the middle of, starting with number 1, Lady of Shadows. I'm gonna be buddy reading this with my friend Bailey from Bailey Nicole Reads. She picked this up, so I just knew that this was going to be, I needed to take the push to pick this up immediately. Okay, I had to. Number 2, The Reckoning. I have actually finished the first half of the audiobook for this book, so we'll get into some reading updates momentarily. However, I do need to finish the last half of the graphic audiobook and I don't know, maybe continue on with the series. I don't know. No, those are the only 2 books that I know from the get-go that I definitely want to continue on this week. There are a couple other books that I don't necessarily want to jinx by saying them aloud, but there are some books that I need to get to. Okay, fine, we'll talk about them. Number 1, Children of Fallen Gods. I feel ashamed to say that I have not continued reading on this series. I've been in the mood to pick this up, but I've also been kind of intimidated by it, but I also just feel like I was waiting for the right time, which I don't know what that was about. However, will we get to this book this week? I don't know. I'm not as worried about picking up Wildside. I say worried, fussed, maybe we can say, because I do definitely want to pick up. I'm feeling in the mood to read some big boys, okay? I have 2 more books to finish the series. The audiobooks are both out, and I love these audiobooks. Golden Goldfinch. And then that would finish off a series for me. And then I grabbed book 3, but I'm quite literally here. I feel like a phony for not having read this. I loved Book Fazriel so much. And then I saw DNF this and I just haven't circled back to it. I need to catch up. And then obviously, Kingdom of Copper. I like City of Brass. I feel like I really need to continue on in the series to really solidify my thoughts, because honestly, I still don't know how I feel about it. I don't. But the vibe for this week is very much so. All I want to do is crochet. All I want to do is have an audiobook on, not really do much eyeball listening, do some like, I don't know, cozy crafts, and then just for kicks and giggles, because I would love to be able to look back at the progress at the end of the week and hopefully have made some progress. We have 2 current blankets that I'm crocheting. Number 1, she's actually getting pretty long. Like, she's about touching the bottom of the ground. It's like hip height at the moment, but this is the blanket that I'm crocheting for my sister's graduation present, which, to be fair, she has been begging for this blanket, so she does in fact know that she's gonna get it, so we're not spoiling anything by talking about it now. And then we also have whatever this pile of things are. My bestie McKenna got me the yellow bean tote for Christmas, and I have been migrating back and forth between my bedroom and the living room, so having this in a bag just like full of all the yarn has been absolutely iconic. However, we do have a decent amount of progress being made on this blanket so far, whichever side is front. She's moving and grooving, so we do definitely have some things to work on this week, and I'm excited to just have a cozy week, continuing on in some series that I have been desperate to get to, but then also doing some cozy hobbies. Hello friends, we're back from arguably the longest intro ever to a reading vlog ever. However, we do have an unboxing. I can't even fully say the words because I'm so excited about this. Where do I open this? Why is this box so complicated? It's me, I have the problem. I just don't know how to open. I've never gotten a like large fairy loot box before, so I had literally no idea how this was constructed, but I think we got it. Maybe, I don't know. Still uncertain. So if you are semi-caught up on the vlogs, you would have known that I have been reading an absolutely so down bad for the Fever series. And I didn't initially put, I thought we were really close to being able to get this open now that we actually had them out of the box, but box 1, me 0, bubble wrap 1, me still 0. Do, however, really appreciate how whoever I bought these from packed these, because they are Not only well wrapped, but also perfect. Oh, Melanta. Okay. So Arcane Society technically did a... Wait, is it her on all of them? The covers are basically all the same. But she does have her blonde hair back. Is that intentional? I'm intrigued by her hair on all of these because one would think that it would match up with what's happening in the series, but it doesn't necessarily. Oh, Mylanta. Yeah, okay. So Arcane actually did special editions for the Fever series, starting with obviously none other than Dark Fever. Now, I initially read Dark Fever at the, I don't know, sometime in August of last year. So then I finally picked up and started with Blood Fever, and I continued on with Fae Fever. I am so down bad for the series, okay? And when I saw that there were special editions for these, I just knew that I had to have them. And unfortunately, I missed the, I guess, like reprinting of this edition whenever Arcane like printed them. However, I did find somebody on Pango who had them, not only who had all of them in the most absolute perfect condition, but they're all still like plastic wrapped. So I was really hesitant to put these on the TBR for this week because I wanted to wait until I had the pretty editions to continue reading on the series, if nothing else, just so I could hold them and look at how pretty they were as I continued reading them. And to be honest, like I feel like this way with every special edition where I can see the mock-up, if you will, but not actually like see them until you see them in person. But each of the sprayed edges has not only the background of a certain little book in the series that has a lot of relevance, but then there's also, each book has the particular object of power we can say that we are looking for in each of the books, and I am just, oh yeah. So I will take the plastic wrap off of these. However, Dream Fever, I can't with the series. So thank you to the person that put these on their Pango. I am so beyond jazzed to have these, but also thank you for giving them to me for a reasonable price, because when I saw that they were like over $200 outright from Arcane, I knew that they were going to be so expensive on resale, and the fact that I got them for like not very much more than resale. Bless you. So now that we have the last item in our TBR, let's get on into reading. Y'all, I'm so down bad for the series. I literally cannot. This is a great day. Hello friends, I'm coming to you with a completely finished book because I could not stop reading it long enough to even halfway pretend to update you guys. I read this in approximately, I think like 2 sittings. This is a 5-star, okay? Lady of Shadows, just like truly, she is a girl. I do in fact fear that this book will be my favorite book in the series and everything else will just be downhill from here, though we will find out hopefully. As a reader, I really love a healing journey. I love getting to see characters go through these really hard, terrible, absolutely awful things, and then watching them not only process that but learn how to sit in that. And I think that this book did that so well. I'm someone who usually, because I am a nerd, I do in fact read the author's notes and or acknowledgements on books usually, and the author's note on this book in particular talks about how Melissa K. Rorick, she unfortunately was going through a very awful loss at the time of writing this book, and so getting to see her own life experiences reflected in this book, because this author was like actively going through this grieving process while also writing a character who was going through obviously different things, because this character is not experiencing the same loss that she was, but she was definitely learning how to process her life and sit in that grief. And I think because Melissa K. Rorick was going through something that no one should ever have to go through, I think that she was able to use those life experiences and put them into a character. And I think that Scarlet in this book was just so, it was beautiful to watch. You get to watch her not only process everything that has happened to her up until this point, but learning how to sit in it, but then also having all these characters around her, and not only these brand new relationships that she's forming, but also getting the backstory of a ton of characters and really just solidifying where this world is gonna go. And I'm like, Yeah, I could not put it down. I could not stop reading it. I actually eyeball read the entire book, and you know a book is good when I fully eyeball read it because I just like I can't do anything else but stare at the words. The other really cool thing about this book is that this is where the world really starts to expand because we got the introduction in book 1 and the book 2 really kind of starts to solidify not only the world but all of the different characters in this world, what the plot is going to be, some more information on the magic system. I'm so intrigued to see where the rest of the series go, but like I said, I do fear that this will be my favorite because I'm a sucker for a healing journey. This book was healing. So deepest apologies for not giving you any further updates, but just know this is a 5-star. I really, really loved it. I am so excited to continue on in the series. So we will in fact be doing that this week. I am feeling really motivated to continue reading the series. And I think that part of the reason why I loved this book so much in particular was because I did read Lady of Darkness semi-recently-ish. I didn't wait like several months. I did wait like a month or so. I think I technically waited a month in between Lady of Darkness and this book. So I'm definitely inspired to continue on reading the series because part of the reason why I did love so much was because I was pretty well fresh off of the first book in this series, which like, surprise, surprise, continuing a series. Reading a book after you read the last one kind of makes it good. I don't know what that's about. Odd concept. However, how many more books in this series that I'm going to continue reading on in this particular vlog? I don't know, but I do definitely want to finish this sooner rather than later. Assuming that this, like, I don't know, we could just, I mean, we're only 2 books in. What, there's technically 5 books in a novella? I don't know, there are quite a few books in the series, so book 2, we're going strong. TBD. Good morning, friends. So I'm absolutely guzzling the caffeination at the moment because I stayed up until 3:30 a.m. last night reading. I've been doing this thing lately where I've been reading a little bit here and there on my phone just because I have been doom scrolling so much, and I'm like, okay, well, while I'm on my phone, I don't have to put my phone down. I can just like read a couple pages, and so then I will end up getting sucked in, and then I'll move to my Kindle eventually. So that's kind of working for me recently as far as like getting myself off of doom scrolling. However, I don't even know who that character is. Who is that character? Oh yeah, I know who that is. Okay, I made it 78% of the way in last night before I finally was like, okay, listen, if I stay up much longer, I'm just gonna keep reading and then actually finishing this book, and then it'll be suddenly time to go to work. So I finally was able to just throw my Kindle across the room and like actually go to sleep because I let me scoot back here a little bit. I knew that this was going to branch off into more of a multi-POV style story, but I wasn't necessarily anticipating myself being so entertained by each and every single POV. Like when I read POV changes, a lot of times I'm not as interested in each of the different POVs as much as I was in the original one, like when it like starts in the original and then branches off. But in this case, I'm so intrigued because we are getting to see so many different character transitions in a sense. Like everyone started, like, I mean, it's character development. Like we have a for example, we have a villain, okay, that we really thought was going to be the villain, and the villain is no longer as villainy, and I'm actually like very surprisingly really understanding their motivations for a lot of the things that they're doing. And I'm like, wait, so plot twist, they're not the villain anymore. So they're not the villain, but then we're also getting the villain, and I'm starting to see like how this ties into other series and like where those Easter eggs are starting to come in without knowing obviously too much about what the actual Easter eggs are because I've not read the other series yet. But it makes me feel like this is all so well plotted and such a very big, expansive story, and I just cannot stop. I'm eating it up, and I think that part of it has to do with the pacing. There's not even a lot of action necessarily, like it's not we're fighting left, right, and center, but we're learning new information and new details, and we're also having really interesting character interactions left, right, and center. So she's able to maintain a really fast pace here without it being so high stakes and actioning all the time, which is building up to be more of like a marathon of a series rather than just like a trilogy. Like we're taking it a little bit more slow in a sense, and I'm really loving it. So I'm going to proceed to inhale my caffeine. I said 3:30 earlier. It was because I, actually stopped reading at 3:30, but then I proceeded to doom scroll because I just like couldn't get my brain to stop. So it was closer to like 4:30 when I finally went to sleep. However, It has been so long since I have been so deep into a book that I feel like I just like can't stop. And I feel like I'm getting that twofold right now because I'm getting one, Lady of Ashes, aka the Lady of Darkness series, but then I'm also really into, I keep thinking about where Bay Fever left off and I really want to start Dream Fever sooner rather than later. So I'm very excited to pick up Dream Fever later on in this week, but I will keep it on with Lady of Ashes for a little bit. I just left off at chapter 41 in which they are experimenting with some new magic, we can say. Yeah. It has been a couple of days, meaning almost a whole week. I got a cold at the beginning of this week and I was being a real baby about it. And at that point I was definitely still reading and I ended up finishing a certain little book that we need to unbag here. And then by the time that I was feeling better, like enough to give you guys an update that required half of a brain, I didn't want to read anymore. So I am not only feeling better. Oh, this is like chunky. Me acting surprised about the third book in a series being chunky. I can't. So not only did I finish Lady of Ashes, I also have picked up another book that we'll talk about here in a second, but let's talk about Lady of Ashes first and foremost. I loved it. The ending of this book, I'm still just like, what? Huh? I absolutely... to the point where I will be picking up Lady of Embers. My entire goal for the month of April, I did not have a goal. Okay, I was just gonna kind of mood read, live, laugh, love a little bit until May and then do Escape the Readathon in May, which I'm still doing and I'm very excited about. However, my plans for April have now completely shifted. I have quite a few arcs that I was planning on reading in April, so that was kind of gonna be my goal, but then I was gonna mood read outside of it. However, my plans have completely changed because number one, I am absolutely so down bad for this and I'm gonna have to continue binge reading the rest of the series. Hi, buddy. It just got finished, I think, ish, or at least paused raining. And this one does not handle rain very well, so he's just gonna be panting forever. But he does really love to sit behind me on the wall. And he also loves to be squished, but I'm not sitting close enough to him, so just enjoy a happy looking guy that's in fact very not happy and just pure anxiety, which like relate. Hi, buddy. Very much so enjoying binge reading the series, and I think that part of the reason why I'm having such a good time with it so far is definitely because of just straight up binge reading it. So I'm gonna keep on binging it, and I feel not only motivated after having read slash completely finished slash DNF'd the Bargainer series, having finished that series, and now I feel like I'm really building up some momentum. I'm really in the mood to continue reading the series, so I'm just gonna keep on reading this series. But then I also am going to keep on reading another series that we're going to talk about here in a second. But my plans for April have very much so shifted into wanting to finish some of the bigger series on my TBR, which is like, I've been needing to have that inspiration. It is currently, what day is today? It is April 19th. So my plans for the rest of the month are just going to be continue binge reading series. So love that for me. However, one of the series being Lady of Darkness. We are definitely getting more so into some heavier plot, and I think that I definitely needed to take a little bit of a break after this book just because A, I was sick, B, work has been like absolutely insane. However, being able to just kind of like process everything and then start fresh and going into book 4, I think is definitely going to be such a good setup. However, the ending of this book you know that what happened did not just happen, but like also it happened. And I'm like, wait, what just happened? What is happening? What is happening? If you've read it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, we know, but we don't know, but there's no way. We know, but there's no way. Like, it just doesn't, I don't in fact know. So I am so excited to continue on into Lady of Embers. I did just get the audiobook for it, so I think I'm gonna probably start that tomorrow. I picked up Lady of Embers like right before I got sick. I read all of like a page and then I put it down and I was like, I just need a minute. And so I am feeling a lot better. However, I do definitely think that I don't know that any book is gonna top Lady of Shadows in the series for me, because that book to me is just like so good. And I think that Lady of Ashes, there were some points in Lady of Ashes in which I was becoming so intrigued by so many of the POVs. I know that we've talked about it in particular with this series, how there are certain point of view shifts that I'm just like, okay, great, fine, whatever. But then in this series, I'm like, wait, no, I think I do like all of them. And getting to see some of the dynamics between all these characters is very interesting. I'm intrigued to see, there's a certain character in here that I was really starting to like, and then some things changed. So I'm curious to see how Lady of Embers is going to go for me, because I was really starting to like this character. And then yeah, so that's cool. I really hope that thank you. I really hope that the last half of this series continues on to at least be good, because I am scared, because I did love Lady of Shadows so much that everything else is just going to kind of like taper off a little bit, and I don't want that to happen. But regardless, I had a really good time reading Lady of Ashes. I didn't necessarily need to immediately knee-jerk pick up Lady of Embers, because we know, but we don't know. Like, we know, but it's not possible. But like, we know, but like, I don't know. But I felt like I had a fair amount of suspicion. When the thing happened, I had to go back and reread it. I was like, did I just like read that too quickly where I missed details that actually did in fact happen? Or are we just assuming that this happened? But like, I don't know what happened. So I'm overall just like, wait, so, huh? I'm confused. Like, did that actually... What? We did start to get some of the lore in terms of how this book connects into not only the Legacy series, but then also technically Melissa K. Rourke's like universe at large. Like, we're getting to see how this expands, and I've been desperately just like craving something that it connects and is so expansive like this is turning out to be. So I'm very excited, but I also think I'm mostly so excited because I'm getting closer to the end of the series in which I can go start the Legacy series, which like everyone talks about, but I feel like I've had a couple of the like little points and pieces described, and up until this point we're still building lore on how everything connects. Like, we've had little sprinklings, but I'm still really curious. Like, I'm kind of thinking that in my head I really wanted to read this series before I read the Legacy series, but like I don't know that was really necessary, because the plot is very much so about these characters and not like the universe at large. So I'm intrigued to see how that all connects eventually, but we're gonna keep on keeping on, and we did in fact finish this. However, I needed something that was like kind of shorter, silly, goofy, and like not as brain heavy as this is, because this is turning out to be a lot more plot, which I'm down for. Very much so. However, yeah, I had to pick up Dreamweaver. I think at this point in time, I'm not absolutely just like crazed by this series, because right now this series is doing it for me. Also, I did unbox these books earlier on in the vlog, and I did not actually take off the plastic wrapping and flip through them and everything, and I have now. These books are absolutely stunning. Like, obviously, like all of this is gonna be good. The reverse dust jackets, are these spoilery? I hope not. No, we're good. These are obviously beautiful. Oh my gosh, even the reverse sides are gilded. Oh my. Oh my. But when you open up and look at these pages, they have like art on them. And each of the books have different pieces of art in them. Dark Fever has all kinds of pretty little library images, and it's like one of the most stunning copies of any book that I've ever owned. So I'm so glad that I was able to get my hands, my filthy, dirty little paws on these copies. I've I'm at the point in like being sick where it's definitely like I'm coughing, and if I like laugh, breathe too much, I'm gonna start coughing. So I'm trying to like not freak myself out and like get myself all hyped up about the series, but like I can't. I literally I can't. Oh my gosh, it just we're getting everything that we have been building up towards, but at the same time we're getting it in the most frustrating way possible, that I almost feel like I'm still not getting what I want, but it's there, but it's happening, and I know that we're still working towards it. And I just feel like this book and this series is just a giant tease the whole time, and I'm having so much fun with it. Like I love it. And I think that we were building up to some decisions that were going to have to be made throughout the series, and we're finally starting to see those decisions be made, and I'm assuming most of them will be completed, like made, and then we'll see the fallout of those decisions in the last book. But like I'm having such a good time with these series. I literally do not want to put it down, and I do fear that by the time that I get to Shadow Fever, I know that the rest of the series kicks off with Dani's perspective, which in this series, Dani is 13 technically. Anytime that we get a POV from her, it's very, very immature. 13-year-old girl, as you would expect. The narrative tracks to being in the head of a 13-year-old. So at first I was kind of icked out by it, by like a lot, and then I started realizing like, oh yeah, it's because she's literally 13. Okay, no, great. Okay, wait, no, I kind of like it now. So it did definitely take me some time to warm up to her. This is like a million book long series, technically speaking. So after Shadow Fever, which is technically book 5, it switches over to Dani's perspective. So everything that I've heard has said that after that point, it's kind of just like the spin-off, and it's like, great, cool, whatever, but like the main series is what matters. So I'm getting sad that I'm closer to the end of that. And I do think that I probably will stop after Shadow Fever, because I'm so obsessed with Mac that I can't imagine having any other female main character. Like, I do love Dani. I do love her. But Michaela Lane and Barons, okay, this the amount of tension that we have built up, I am just like highlighting little moments. We're getting to the points where we're just like getting little side comments, and you're just absolutely losing it. And I know, okay, I know this is one of the most toxic scenarios, and it's like I should not be rooting for certain characters to the degree that I am, given these scenarios that they are in and the decisions that they're making and the things that have happened. Like, these characters should not, they're not necessarily doing things that aren't okay, but like they're definitely doing things that aren't okay, and they're being associated with things that are not okay. So you don't want to root for them, but at the same time I'm like, red flag. Like I'm waving it. Like, I'm having such a good time reading this series. So I'm going to continue reading Dream Fever. I think I'm like 58% of the way through, and then I'm going to go into Lady of Embers, and I think we will wrap up this vlog with these 2 books. I think I'm also like 15% of the way through the graphic audiobook part 2 for The Reckoning, book 3. I can never remember the titles of the series, so I definitely will pick that up probably in the next vlog. So I think I might just pause there and then dive into this bad boy, because Bailey's already actively, I say not this one, but Lady Embers, because Bailey's already reading it. So I need to go order a copy of this so I have it ready to go. But also I do think it's cool because as I have been reading these books, I've been buying them. So because these are all Amazon KDP like direct print or whatever, they all have the dates in the back. So the dates in these copies of these books are lining up with when I'm actually reading them, and I find that so satisfying. So I'm gonna go order a copy of Lady of Embers. I was debating going ahead and ordering The Reaper and Lady of Starfire, but I'm like, I'm just going to keep on going. I'm going to keep on holding off on ordering those until I actually read them, even though I know I'm going to read them up next because the dates in the back are satisfying to me. Anyways, I'm going to keep on reading. It's supposed to start reading again here in like 30 minutes or so, so I'm going to probably go officially get ready for bed. I've been just kind of like lounging around today and having the most absolutely lazy day. I really want to start a TikTok officially, which I have been putting off, but I used to do reels all of the time and I love doing reels. And then whenever I switched over to YouTube, I wasn't really able to find like a workflow in my life of like having long form and short form content at the same time. But I think I kind of like, I want to get back to, I miss it. I want to get back to doing short form more. And then I'm like, if I'm already doing reels, I might as well also just do TikTok. So I need to, that's my plan for tomorrow, is going to have more of like an admin kind of like content-y planning kind of day, which I was supposed to have today, but I've just been like absolutely rotting and reading. So we're going to continue doing that for the rest of the evening. And then I will check back in with you when we have some reading updates. And so I, yet again, stayed up far too late past my bedtime, and I finished Dark Fever. I am still sick apparently, and could greatly, in fact, benefit from sleeping, but I can't. I couldn't put it down. I'm gonna need a minute to process this series. I'm generally a new release girly. Like, I want to read all the things that are being currently hyped and all the new things, just because I love to be in the moment with books, and I love to be reading books at the same time as other people, because then there is obviously a bigger community around the book, and I just love being part of a community, okay? However, not to say that people aren't actively reading this, because I do know a lot of people that are going back and reading this series. I think that because this is an older release, I mean, technically it is. So this book, being the 4th book in the series, came out in 2009. And I think that because it reflects a past writing style and what was more so popular at that time, it's just very different to what is being currently published at the moment. And I am so just like, it's really scratching the brain. I have at this point gotten like 20-ish% into Shadow Fever, because obviously, like, this series is structured in a way where you put this book down and you pick this book up. Like, there is no stopping in the middle in between these books. And having now been 20% of the way through Shadow Fever, being the last book in this series, it's starting to kind of hit me why. I'm starting to connect some dots in my head as to why this is hitting so good. And I think, number one, there are a couple elements here. Let's go ahead and start with the romance, because I just like, I have to start there. Given where these two books start and end, and like what's happening. What's so interesting about this whole series is that I'm currently on book 5. There has still not been true romance in this book. We have still not had any form of a confession. And I love a good confession. And I think that whenever you do have that confessional moment of like, here are our feelings toward each other, that for me is where I just completely like, like that's the moment, right? We've had so much buildup and so much tension because we still haven't had the moment, and we know that they've pretty much like, they're there but they're not there, but like they're there but they're not there. There's so much tension leading up into the final book in the series, and because we still haven't developed that, you are so propelled into finishing on in the series. The other half of that is the plot, because the plot isn't structured in a big cliffhanger way where you kind of like get information and you know where you're going into the next book. These books almost just like leave off and you're like, wait, what? Like, there is basically no resolution, to the point where the cliffhanger is like kind of explained, but it's not really fully developed, to the point where you're like, wait, what? Like, wait a minute, like, what just happened? Wait, what? And so you're just left very intrigued, needing more information, and it creates this overall just like urgency in the series. But also, because these books are not super long, you're not getting bogged down in a lot of development that's not necessarily directly tied to the book. You are left in the dark for a lot of facts about the series the whole time, and so you're continually just like needing to know more. And I think that overall, it is creating a very deep sense of urgency and just like obsession on my behalf. Like, I'm just having such a good time with it. And I think it's for a couple reasons, it being the overall structure of these books, but then also because I'm just like, I'm obsessed. Like, the main male character is so up my alley, it's not even funny. And I'm just like, I'm so down bad. And I know there are things that are occurring in these books that should make me not root for them, but I still do. And I don't know how that is even possible. Like, I don't know how that was even done. I don't know how that was even written, but I'm just like, I'm into it. This series is very much so going to be not for some people. You either get it or you don't. It's not one of those that is just like for everyone, because the humor is so specific. The romance is so specific. And then portions of the writing style, like we talked about being in Danny's POV, there are portions in the writing where it can come off as very cringe if you're just not like completely locked in on it. And I am lucky enough in this scenario to be locked in on it. So I'm grateful. I'm having a good time. So I can completely understand that people wouldn't like this series. But for me, this is like, it's so good. You've got humor. I don't want to say it's cringy, but it can definitely lean in the more cringy direction. But because I love it, it's making it even more just like unhinged and fun. And I think that there's such a good balance, because of the humor works really well for me. There's such a good balance in between these fun, lighthearted moments and then these really terrible, deep, dark things that we are going through. And I think that we're also half developing certain things to a certain point. Like, we still have so many questions, and it's just supposed to be like a silly, goofy time while also like doing the things that we're doing. It's like silly, goofy, but then also it'll like smack you in the face with this like event that occurred that you need more info. So I'm having such a good time with these books. This is 100% a style of series that you absolutely have to binge it. You need it. I need it. I wasn't necessarily planning on completely binging the series. I in fact was planning on doing a vlog later on this week where I was going to finish this series. I was going to hopefully finish Lady of Darkness, and then I was going to also finish maybe even like Wild and Wrangled. I don't know, but at this point I can't put it down. I can't. So we're going to use that as the sign that we're just going to end the vlog here. I will be finishing this. I will probably be binge reading more of Lady of Darkness, and I don't know, I'm feeling the need, like I need to have a little bit of a palate cleanser because I'm so deep in these fantasy worlds. Reading 2 fantasy series at the time, maybe not my best bet, but I think that the Fever series is definitely winning out for me right now over Lady of Darkness because I'm so urgent in on this, and Lady of Darkness is definitely a little bit chunkier. There is a lot more plot to it. It is a bit more complex, whereas this is just so easy to read, and I've been needing easy to read right now, so I have definitely been focusing on this series. However, I definitely do want to continue on reading in that series, and then I just, like, as we've talked about at the beginning of this vlog, there are so many series that I'm actively in the middle of. So my focus for the next little bit is going to be to continue the series that I'm actively in the middle of while they're still fresh on my mind before I start anything new particularly. However, I also keep looking at certain Kindle Unlimited titles that I just really want to read. So I'm just kind of like all over the place right now, and I'm just kind of living. We're just mood reading. We're having a good time. And I thank you for joining me along with this process because I'm just like, I'm living, I'm laughing, I'm loving, I'm dying, but I'm also living. So anyways, thank you so much for watching this vlog. If you made it this far into the video, go ahead and leave some sort of a spring emoji, maybe something like outdoorsy, because I have been absolutely living for reading outside lately. And in fact, I'm gonna go finish editing this video, and then I'm going to spend the rest of the evening digging on into this, preferably outside. So don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for hopefully continuing more. But then there are also so many good indie KU fanros that I really want to read, but then also like we've got some cowboy romance ahead of me. I feel like I was kind of slumping out, but now I'm feeling very much so motivated. Yeah, no, it's time. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have a great rest of your day or night wherever you are, and I will catch you in the next one.